There we go. Wagwan, wagwan, wagwan. Back at it again. To all my wonderful people, I am now live. We made it. I got my mimosa, fresh off the plane. Had to do some EP work. Shout out to my man, Mr. Eddie Murphy. It's been a year. It has definitely been a year. And it's all good. It is all good. I want to send shout outs to everyone, all you beautiful people, each and every individual that supported me through this journey. I am now over 30,000 subscribers. Whew! It's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. Conversation and reviews, locker room conversations. It's only going to get better. I wanted to kick the new year off by going live and also sharing some things as we continue this journey of growth. And one of the things I like to mention to each and every individual out there, the key word to all of this coming into the new year, coming into this year now that we're here, it's about consistency. If y'all can hear me, put a chat in, put something in there to let me know you watching. Let me know you listening. But I'm going to start the chat off right now. Like I always do when I go live, I always send shout outs and I pay respect. That everyone receive abundant blessings and growth and prosperity to all. But there's one word that resonates in my spirit to share with y'all as I sip my mimosa. Consistency. That should be locked in your subconscious mind. Consistency. Be consistent in all that you do and say. We're going to tap into this sister here. And Sarah Fontenay, she did some amazing things on Country Wings skits and shows and stuff. And she has a podcast show called It's Giving Podcast. And as I was brainstorming, I'm like, how can I kick this month off? This month of January. And I just want to talk to the ladies on this one. The way to understand a man is to have a conversation with one. Sit down and listen so you can understand where he's coming from. Getting down to the root of everything and so forth. So, without further ado, y'all know how we do. Grab your shoulder pads and your helmet. Let's get this work.
If this season of your life were called It's Giving Blank and you have to fill in the blank, what would it be called? And you have to say it's giving.
It's giving spiritual development.
Break that down.
So I navigated the majority of my life emotionally incarcerated. Right? And so a lot of decisions I made were from a defensive mechanism perspective. Right? And so vulnerability was never my strong point. I operated from chaos and then organized chaos. So it was learning how to keep my calm in chaotic environments.
Yeah.
And that organization allowed me to just be a general, a leader. And it allowed me not to be empathetic in certain situations. It allowed me not to.
Let me just say this. Just to hear a brother share is amazing to me. To hear a brother open up and share his testimony, share his story is amazing. It shows growth. It shows, that masculine side. One of the things that I always pry on, starting my podcast show, the King's Table podcast, is to bring back that masculine man. Because the masculine man has lost its way. You have a lot of men, a large number of men, not every, but a large number of men walking around here feminine, walking around here being simps. What happened to the masculine man that stands for something? The masculine man that don't take no bullshit. The masculine man that is humble, that is peaceful, that is graceful, that is kind to himself and others, that uses wisdom, that walks in his anointing. Those are the type of men that we have to bring back. Because what we're seeing in modern feminism, the modern feminist women couldn't handle the strong masculine man of that caliber, of that character. And we see that every day, all day. But I digress. I'm going to let the brother continue speaking. Salute, King.
To be vulnerable, it allowed me not to connect. And so it made me numb to a lot. And so as I grew, maybe the turning point was having my daughter.
And your daughter is how old?
8.
So 8 years ago you found this out.
100%. But as a man who came from what I have created as normalcy, even that situation didn't allow me to just be vulnerable in all aspects of my life.
Break that down. What do you mean when you say that?
So I knew that I had to be vulnerable with her.
Got it.
But outside of her, it was, we trapped.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it was hard for me to navigate that. And so, because she needed me to be vulnerable at all times.
Yeah. Yes. She's the little girl.
Yeah. So she needed her daddy, not like a gangster.
Yeah.
Not the street dude.
Yeah.
I need my dad.
Yeah.
And so the easiest way for me to transition, I really had to be like, all right, God, like, I don't know what to do here. This is brutal for me. It's a gauntlet. It's an emotional gauntlet for me to navigate this space. I'm trying to turn it on and turn it off, turn it on and turn it off. I need to get out of survival mode.
Ooh.
Right? I needed to get out of that survival mode and I need to be emotionally emancipated. Right? And so in order to do that, I had to just like, all right, God, like, I need you to put people in my life that can help me because I can't do this by myself. And so I started meeting and connecting with different men. So it was my guy Pocky from Hood Estates at the time.
Brother's talking about connecting with men. And in this generation, in the things that we're seeing, the disconnect with the connection from men. And in doing so, it's that whole thing of mentoring, sitting down, having those conversations, and uplifting, and really getting down to those roots of it. A large number of women, I say, that grew up without their fathers or didn't have their fathers, you see the behavior. one of my questions, and I have many questions, and now that my channel is growing, let me just say this. It is a blessing to hit over 30,000 subscribers. I'm humbled. I'm humbled. In the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach, I'm so humbled. And it's only going to grow when you bring back the masculine man, when you bring back peace, when you bring back how relationships was. Y'all remember how relationships used to be back in the 90s, where it didn't take much to have a good time, where if individuals opened up, it wasn't taken out of context. That individual wasn't disrespected, but that individual was more received because it's like, man, you're expressing how you feel. So moving forward, we want to tap into it all. There's a large number of feminine men walking around here. We got to change that. There's a large number of simps walking around here. We have to change that. Because don't no woman want to date a man that's feminine. Don't no woman want to date a man that is a simp. If a woman wants to date a masculine man, she's going to be feminine too. She's going to be a feminine woman. It's being able to sit down at the table and have those conversations. Sit down in the end zone and have those conversations. Sit down on the sideline and have those conversations. Sit down at the water cooler and have those conversations. Sit down in the locker room and have them conversations. In order to have good conversation, you have to be willing to get down to the root of it all. These are the type of things most don't want to see. A black man opening up, a black man expressing, a black man sharing. Come on now. Come on. How many times a black man try to do that and he gets shamed? He gets called sassy, a simp or a wimp or a sucker or a punk because he opens up. And this is a good father. Where's your daddy?
Like he was married and a successful entrepreneur, and I thought I was being mentored him in business, but it was being mentored him, watching him be a father, watching him be a husband, watching him navigate. I was like, okay, this was good.
Yeah.
And then switching to like having an ET in my life, watching him navigate spirituality, watching him navigate with his wife, his kids, and then just people in my inner circle. So that helped me to start, okay, we got to start developing more spiritually so that I can connect here emotionally.
Yes.
Right? And so that's why I would label this era of my life that emotional development phase. Because the more, the spiritually development phase, because the more I spiritually develop, the byproduct of that is being a better father, being a better entrepreneur, being a better man, being a better friend. Right? And so that would be what this era 100% would be for me.
I love
anything that is geared around a man becoming the better version of himself. I'm all for it. Those that know me know I'm an advocate for men, good men, men that are consistent in growth. Let me specify, men that are about something, men that are overcoming, whether it be childhood issues, mental issues. Oh yes, Black men do suffer a lot of mental issues that goes unrecorded. Well, we're going to talk about it here at the King's Table because that's what we do. Anything that involves a man being the better version of himself, for many people to see, I stand for that. Now, when it comes to the foolishness, I don't stand for foolishness. But as men, we're going to call that thing out and we're going to talk about it. And we're going to come up with solutions. Men are leaders. Men are kings. You better act like it and walk in it. When it comes to women, a traditional woman, let me specify, when it comes to a traditional woman, a woman that's about growth, a woman that takes accountability, a woman that works on being a better version of herself, a woman that is willing to help other women, not hate on other women, but help other women, hey, I'm all for it. Anything that comes along with the lines of a woman doing things positive, doing something positive, hey, I'm all for it. When you have the negative side of things, behaviors of women, I'm not going to disrespect that woman, but we're going to sit down and have adult conversations and call that thing out too. Oftentimes, people don't call out things. They rather bash, disrespect, and so forth. That's not doing nothing. That's not helping the situation. We've all had some interesting childhood, I'll say. Whether a man didn't grow up with his father, or that woman didn't grow up with her father. I mean, it's obvious we see that in the behaviors of large numbers of men and women today. On my podcast show, I hold both accountable. I don't male bash, I don't woman bash. But we have adult conversations and we call that thing out. This is the reason why a large number of women are single and can't keep a man. Boom. This is why a large number of men can't keep a woman. Don't even know how to approach a woman. Boom. We talk about it. Let's continue.
Love that. And I love that because I feel like especially in today's day and age, you see a man of your caliber. And for those of you that don't know Wall Street Trapper, it's okay. It's okay. Make sure our phones are off. Y'all know we keep it real. It is giving. We gonna keep rolling.
Oh, it's like Trapping Tuesday.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's gonna be what it's gonna be. And if you want to have a seat, feel free. Just have a seat, get comfortable.
Yeah.
But I say that because in 2024, a lot of people measure the success of a man by how much money that he makes.
Okay.
And I know that you've made the money. You've done the millions. You've created the access, and anybody that knows you knows exactly that. But I also feel like a lot of the times, and not in every case, but in a lot of cases, men themselves feel like having monetary success can almost give you leeway with a lack in your character. And so what I've learned through diving in a rabbit hole with you is that you are very certain, you are coachable, you are from who you're willing to be coached by.
Yeah.
Right? Anybody can't just be like, hey, you need to whatever. And you're like, no, that's not happening. But I do feel like there's an essence and an energy that you have. Where did that come from?
I think a lot of my morals and integrity were in place because of what I come from. So a lot of the streets did install a lot of
like loyalty
and like respect for OGs.
Yeah.
There's certain things like respect for women, even though people don't understand it now, but like there was like a code in my era where like women and elderly people were like off limits and you showed them the utmost respect. Like that's the era I come from. And so I consider myself.
And that's the error. That's the error that we have to bring back. Because even I remember the street code. The street code was if you were gang affiliate and so forth, there's people that you didn't mess with. You didn't mess with your elders. Okay? You didn't mess with the kids. You didn't mess with the handicap. There's certain people you didn't mess with. And look what we have now. Look what's going on now. So I get where he's coming from and where he's going with that. Where's the street code at? Can we bring that back?
Myself a man child because I went to prison when I was 16 for attempted murder.
Yeah.
Right. And so watching my mama get shot when I was 9. Right. So like I was emotionally, that's why I told you emotionally I was incarcerated because I didn't have the luxury of being able to emotionally developed.
Yeah.
Right? Because being emotionally vulnerable, where I come from, probably puts you closer to the cemetery than not. Right? And so meeting up with OGs when I was in prison, and as I got old, you start learning from their mistakes. And I've always been that person. Like if I see you making mistakes, I would rather learn from them than repeat them.
A period.
Right? So that's been me.
Yeah.
But I've always been good at taking advice. That has never been the thing.
It's bringing that back. It's bringing that back where we sat down. We would sit down and we would have those conversations. You know, I remember, how many of y'all remember when y'all was in high school and to college too, they have leadership programs. You can sign up for leadership programs, and like you'll have different people from different high schools, especially if you was a senior doing this. I remember doing this as a senior, and then when I went to college, junior college, I did it. And then when I went to university, University of Texas, Longhorns, and Hardin Simmons University in Abilene, I did this again. Being a part of a leadership program, it is so important. It is so helpful in so many ways, because not only it teaches you how to be a leader, but you can take all those tools and use it in your personal life, in which will help you be a leader, a problem solver, able to be rational and realistic instead of coming from an emotional standpoint. Like, I always share with people, I do my best work in the midst of chaos. Why? Well, I've had training, leadership training, law enforcement training, martial arts training, football training. Teaches you how to navigate and problem solve without running around like a chicken with your head cut off, panicking and being depressed. No, your mind is leveled, your spirit is leveled, you're able to think clear, you're able to plan things, and you're able to move in a certain direction that a normal individual does not move in.
That I was bad at. God, I'm thankful for that. And so I know that the only way that I can truly develop in life is to listen to people who have been through what I've been through and overcome, or be around people who I aspire to be around, or be like, or emulate in a way. And I think in this era, it's hard for men to say, man, I won't be like that person.
True.
Because like pride
and
is something that we, an ego, right? And so for me, it's, if I'm made in his image and likeness, then I have to find other men who stand firm in being made in his image and likeness, and then learn from those men because they are replicas of what I want to be.
Yes.
Imagine if a large number of women took that same tool. Imagine. Walk with me now. Walk down the sideline with me on this. Imagine if a large number of ladies took that same tool, that same principle, and applied it. A large number would be married, would have a man, etc. Again, we have to be able to come from a place where we can have a general understanding, overstanding of each other, and putting each other in each other's shoes. Okay? A large number of men that grew up without a father, it shows. A large number of women that grew up without a father or didn't have their father in their life, it shows. All things show within our behavior. Have you ever noticed every time you go to a counselor always tells you, what's the first thing a counselor always say? So tell me, what was it like growing up? Now it clicks. What was it like growing up as a child? Tell me. What things happened to you? What did you see? What did you hear? What type of environment you grew up around? Time.
Right. And so when I see men who are husbands and thriving at being husbands, I'm gonna gravitate to that because I aspire one day to be that husband.
Mhm.
If I see men who are leading their family in the right way, I aspire to gravitate to those type of men. If I see men who are successful in business, when I see men who are operating in integrity, those are the men who I will gravitate. That gravitational pull is going to make me go there because that is what I aspire to be.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a wealthy man that's single his whole life or experiencing. What's the purpose of having this life and you have to take all your trips solo?
Right.
You have to. I have this big house. What's the purpose of living in 10,000 square feet solo?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you have to keep developing, right? And you have to tell God like, this is what I aspire to be, God. Show me what does a successful 42-year-old man look like to you. Not my version.
Right.
Not my version.
Every time I thought I knew I was wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. So I think for me, the humility in that is not letting the money make me think that I'm better than what I am.
Yeah.
The material things of this world does not make you. When I see and I'm hearing on social media, a man gotta have this, a man gotta have that, what value do you bring? And the things that you asking for that a man has to have, those are material things. Because I believe there are some beautiful, amazing, good women that have always been walking around the universe. There have been some amazing men always walking around the universe. Again, it goes back to we have to look at who we choose versus who we pass up, throw away, don't even acknowledge, overlook, disrespect, put in the friend zone. You putting the wrong person in the friend zone. The person that you should be with, you should meet him in the middle because in the relationship, we're working together. Teamwork, 50-50. Doesn't it ring a bell? At the end of the day, we both have to do our part in order for this thing to go boom.
That's
right?
So good.
Yeah, because I could look at my bank account and be like, man, nobody can tell me nothing.
Right.
You're not where I'm at.
Right.
So we can't measure our manhood by one component.
Yes.
Right? True, financially, yes, I am that. What about my moral equity? What about my life equity? What about my spiritual equity?
Yeah.
What about my mental equity? What about my emotional equity?
Yeah.
Like, are those other components, those personal KPIs, are they in place?
Yeah.
And so that's always been my thing.
I love that. I've always said for me, success, which I think is whole life happiness, which is when you mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, and energetically are happy with where you're at. Like obviously you're excited for more, we're excited for the evolution, but we're genuinely happy in those different things. So I love that because yes, money doesn't buy you happiness, but it does buy you choices and choices make me happy.
This is true.
However, I want to feel good when I look in the mirror and talk to myself. I want to feel good when I'm thinking about, am I overthinking and living in this hell on earth? Or am I trusting the integrity that I have with my barometer, which is source, God, right? So I feel like when you have those things in place, life starts to look a little bit different.
Or even if the person that you are connecting with is on that same brainwave. What do you mean? When the both of you, just like Miss Fontenot said, when the both of you are on that same wave, wouldn't that make the bonding stronger? Wouldn't that make the relationship more stronger? Wouldn't that open the doors for the both of you to walk in together? See, most want a finished product. I don't want no finished product. Nah, not for me. I would want a product in progress. When the both of us are in progress together, we win. We can make it through anything. What happens when your relationship is tested? What happens when your faith is tested? What happens when all chaos is going on? Makes sense, don't it? Reality has a way of giving us all something to think about. So it all goes back to the value. What value do we have with each other? What are we willing to do differently that we've never done before in order to have something different and better that we never had but always wanted?
You won't put yourself in certain situations.
Mhm.
You won't deal with certain relationships. You won't, there's a different barometer. There's a different
Mhm.
way of life.
Mhm.
And so I'm so curious because you're single,
I am.
single-ish,
No single.
like single.
Like single.
Like, does anybody think they're your girlfriend?
Nah.
No one.
Nah.
Not one.
Nah.
Okay. I'm just clarifying.
Nah.
So what is it like? Why do you think that you developing this new emotional and spiritual capacity and
Mhm.
like inside of that? Do you think that that has to do with why you're single now?
A couple of things. So I was dating somebody, and it was phenomenal.
I love that.
It was phenomenal. She truly applied pressure on me to be better.
I love this person.
From no, you have to communicate with me. I don't feel safe in this situation, this arena. And it wasn't that I was like, I'm a businessman at heart.
Mm.
And so the things that she required from me were new to me.
Mm.
It was things that I wanted. It was things that I were striving to be. But I think that development doesn't come all at once.
True.
It comes in phases. And I will say this, as men, one of the things that we have a hard time with is we have a hard time with letting women develop with us.
Mm.
Have a hard time with, I wouldn't say a hard time. I would use the phrase a challenging time. Most men have a challenging time with letting a woman in. And it's no disrespect. It's not like, oh, he's playing me. He's using me. Sometimes you have to look into things instead of looking at things. Large number of men suffer from abandonment. Large number of men suffer from abuse, whether it be child abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, spiritual abuse, some type of abuse, some type of child neglect. Large number of men have suffered from. See, again, in order to understand man, ladies, you have to be willing to sit down and listen, to understand, to overstand, and to be willing to put yourself in his shoes. Because I guarantee you, he's going to do the same, put himself in your shoes. And when two people begin to understand, overstand each other in that way, my opinion, you have a healthy relationship and or marriage.
It is easier for a man to say, nope, I want to do this alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's our defense mechanism.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to get better. I want to evolve. I want to become that person who you are saying you want, because those things are in me. But man, I don't want you to be with me when I become it. I want to become it on my own. And I want to try to show back up as that. Right. And that's a default for men, because we have been, I don't want to say trained, but we have been programmed to seclude ourselves and then develop and then show back up as the person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
it's almost like we have to go in hiding, work on ourselves, and then show up as the new version of ourselves. You know, that type of thing. We all do it. We've all done it. I've done it. I'm quite sure there's a large number of women that have done it. You know? Let me just say this, though. Entertainment industry has really done something to this generation. And we see it. And I'm gonna be doing takes on it too. I'm gonna be doing conversation and reviews on the entertainment industry as well, on how the music that we listen to today is not like the good, wholesome music of yesterday, you know? And I believe it does have a part of an influence on this generation, male and female. Some of the things that we hearing on social media has an effect, male and female. You see? To the point where if a woman hears something positive that another woman is doing for a man, she gets shamed. If it's something positive that he's doing for his woman, he gets shamed. All this shame going on. Got to put an end to that.
you know, and that was like, so she wanted these things, but she was right. Like as a 40-year-old man who can talk to thousands of people about financial development and how to be right in your life and how to be right in your business, emotionally, I can't express myself.
That's so honest.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't know how to be vulnerable with you because I got set up by a woman, and it wasn't like I was in the streets, so that was part of the game, and that's why I wound up doing 10 years. So, but the residue of that, even 15 years later, still is there. So that emotional vulnerability scared the heck out of me. And there was a point where I realized, like, nah, if we don't fix this trap, you're going to keep messing up great situations.
Okay. Let me take it there. Let me take it there. Big truck. The reason why you have chosen the same type of woman that you have chose, didn't matter the skin color, the same type of woman that you have chose, because you have issues with your mother for the things that your mother done to you. In order for you to change all of that, we call it toxic soul ties. For you to erase all of that and fix that, you have to be willing and man enough to go back and face your past. Either you will or you won't. Choice is yours. I'm not going to tell you what the outcome is. But what I'm saying, there's a door. It's up to you if you choose to walk through that door or not. If you're comfortable, you're content with what's going on in your life right now, that's fine. But if you won't change, and in order for me to take you to the next level and open up doors of blessings and open up your mind and your spirit and flush all that and cleanse all that hurt, all that pain, you got to walk through that door. I was man enough to walk through that door. Those that know my testimony, those that know my story. And if you don't, go back to the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos. Run till that, where I give my testimony of being married for 14 months, being homeless, had every rock thrown at me, and still had to live, still had to survive. I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. It could have made me bitter, but it made me better. It taught me how to go back and face my past and confront it. Now, me and my mother have a relationship. Now, me and my mother talk. But it's that very thing. It's that very thing of saying, in order for me to have a different outlook on life, different outlook on love, different outlook on marriage, different outlook on relationships, and so forth, I have to be willing to go back and deal and confront my past because I have some unfinished business. How can Yahshua expect to bless you and you're not willing to look at yourself and take accountability and say, wait a minute, what part did I play? Wait a minute, let me look at myself. A large number of individuals do not want to look at themselves, but are quick to point fingers at everybody else. So, in retrospect, just to hear a brother expressing, it makes me feel good. Because I was once a man that was broken. I was once a man that was hurt. Had my heart broken in so many pieces, stepped on and crushed, and then put back in my body. Like I'm supposed to be like, hey, everything is okay. Grow up, get over it, man up. No. But I understand how women feel. See, I had to go through that in order to understand. Okay, now I understand what a large women are talking about. Now I understand what a large women are dealing with and faced with. Fighting for their marriage. Getting disrespected, treated like shit. We all adults, so we have conversations. In order to walk a mile in someone's shoes, you got to experience that. Was it hard to open up and share? Yes, it was. But I knew I had word in me. I knew I had purpose in me. I knew that there's a lot of broken and hurt men out there. A lot of men didn't grow up with their fathers. They just grew up in a single parent household with their mother. Mothers only did the best that she could. A woman can't teach a boy how to be a man. She can do so much. A man can't teach his daughter how to be a woman. He can only do so much. That's why they say they need both parents in a household, whether if it's biological or step. It's best to have both parents in the household. Run till that.
Right? And so, like, I do feel like as men, we have situations where we fumble great women.
Yeah.
But I also feel like there's always an opportunity to develop and then show up as the man that's needed. So when the next opportunity presents itself, you're 100% there.
Would you go back?
Oh, time out. I do believe that a large number of men have fumbled the ball when it came to a good woman. I do believe that. I do. I do believe that a large number of men will self-sabotage a good thing before it even gets started with a good woman. Even if you flipped it around, there's been a large number of women that have fumbled the ball with a good man and have shot themselves in the foot and wondered why that good man fell back. I do believe that. And I also believe a good person's work is never done. Women are the prize. Men are the prize. When two good people come together, they both are the prize to each other.
I'll never say what I wouldn't do.
Mhm.
I'll say that,
Mhm.
right? I think that we both serve each other. I think she learned a lot from me because we never had an issue of me disrespecting her
Right,
or
right.
like women. It was just me developing,
Mhm.
right? It was just me evolving. So I wouldn't say no. And I'm always open to a situation if it presented itself because there's nothing bad,
Yeah.
right? But I do think that we should always just move forward. Right? I don't think we should move forward. And I think if it comes back, we both are like equipped
For one another.
for what has happened.
Yeah.
Right. And that was just my thing. It was just like, yo, check this. I know what you want. I need to go work on myself. And I literally went straight into therapy. I would tell her, like, yo, here's the therapy session I just took. I was paying my therapist $1,000 a freaking session. Right.
And it's something because now you share with the woman about going to therapy, especially when you see those traumas, or certain things you say, those triggers. And it's just a suggestion. Have you thought about therapy? You're never too old to receive therapy. I received therapy from 5 different people. It's amazing what Elohim, the type of individuals Elohim will put forth in your path. When I tell you I went through it, 2019, 2020, 2021. My divorce was final, 2022. When I went through it, I went through it. But it was the counseling that brought me through. Being able to open up, being able to be man enough to go back and face my past, being able to look at everything. Now I'm seeing everything, clear-eyed view. And it helped me to be more vocal, set boundaries, know what my preference is, state my preference. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is what I will accept. This is what I will not accept. And it's okay, because at the end of the day, I know my worth. And I know who I am and whose I am in a season of my life. And you have to know that. And that goes for both men and women. Know who you are and whose you are, and walk in the essence of that. Embrace it. Allow a person to like you. People don't allow individuals to like them anymore. The moment a person begins to like you, you find a way to self-sabotage. See, most have never been approached by a good individual, and that goes both ways. Most have never been approached by a good individual. When you sit back and you look at what most are used to coming at them, well, yeah. If a man is used to being around the Makitas and the Shaquitas, he ain't gonna know what to do with a good woman. When a good woman steps to him and says, hello, how are you? Let me take you out on a date. Versus if a woman is used to Pookie and Ray Ray and them, when a good man comes, she ain't gonna know what to do. Because this is what's familiar to her. Just like him. This is what's familiar to him. Saying ain't so.
Right, but it was working.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Where'd you find this therapist?
So my guy told Toby, I told Toby one day. So Toby is he's an artist, and Toad came to me, and I told Toad one day, I said, Toad, bro, like him and CJ, which is ET's right hand man. And I said, bro, like, here's my situation. Like, this is this dope woman, bro. You've been rocking for a while, bro, but like, emotionally, I'm empty.
That is so honest.
I'm like, bro, I'm just empty. Like, I don't feel what she feels, and I'm doing things because I know she's a great woman. But I'm empty, dog. And so CJ and Toad was like, I got somebody for you, bro. Because Toad was like, I was that. He was like, when I met my girl, I was like, man, I ain't doing this. And I realized that the things that we often look for, they aren't in the woman, it's things that we lacking in ourselves. And so he was like, I got the perfect person for you. And so me and Pop's been on it for like a year and something now. And I'm 100% like in such a better emotional place as a man. And I think those things were important for me because like
more men need to hear this. A large number of men need to hear this. A large number of women need to hear this. Because when you sit back and you listen, and that's the thing that most don't do anymore in relationships. They want to listen to what they want to hear. And that goes on both sides of the spectrum. Most want to listen to what they want to hear instead of listening to the things that they should hear. Okay? When you hear a man come from the pit of his spirit, his gut, and share his testimony and say, why are you using this? It's supposed to be women's empowerment. Of course. This is just an introductory. We got a full month of January where I'm going to be doing videos strictly on women, strictly for the ladies. We got to get down to the root of it. We got to have conversations, those hard conversations. The reality is something else. But when you're able to sit back and listen from a male's perspective and a woman's perspective, both perspective, it kind of gives you an idea. It kind of sit back, okay, you know what? Now a woman can begin to see why a man moves the way he moves. And it wasn't always what she thought. Now she has a better understanding. So therefore, moving forward, she's gonna be do better at communicating with him, working with him. You see? And being his safe place, that peaceful place for him. Because now she understands. And vice versa. We'll shift there too.
Went to prison and my mom's was in prison. And I was homeless for a few years of my life because my mom was in prison. And I didn't realize that as a man, I still harbored those feelings of abandonment. I learned to cope with them.
I told you, abandonment. He learned to cope with them. He kept them inside. Keeping all that stuff inside. And that's the one thing you don't want to do. Keep all those feelings, all those emotions, keep all that hurt and that pain bottled up inside. Because I'm going to tell you, you have to release that. And man will release it in so many ways. Just like a woman. Everything that he's explaining and sharing that applied to him, that happened to him, applied to a woman too.
And I normalized it.
Oh, sheesh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so just talking to another man who's been married for 35 years, and we just peeling back layers. And I didn't realize that there were layers to my life that I had normalized that weren't normal.
Yeah. You know,
Imagine a woman sitting down with a married woman that's been married for 35 years and having a conversation like that. and then peeling back the things of her past.
First and foremost, I have to say thank you for your transparency.
Yeah.
And also thank you for your ability to articulate your experience.
Yeah.
Because that's where the teaching comes in. So it's apparent and obvious that you do this for real.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
as far as like teaching and training.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. And also that is so big. You know, I've had people sit on this couch and be like, oh yeah, back when I was molested and then this is what happened. And it's like, pause. You can't just gloss over. Like we just get so used to glossing over it. One you know, shout out to Anissa. She's here right now. We did an episode. It was supposed to be a questions episode, and then it turned into her episode because she just like the whole conversation started with her saying, "Oh yeah, my mom, there was resentment there because I'm a byproduct of rape." So it's like, and she kept talking, and it's like, you cannot just.
But see, this is the thing that we don't talk about. This is the thing that most don't talk about that goes on with men and women, and having an understanding of why a large number of men and women behave the way that they behave. It stems back from the things of their childhood. We have to be willing to have those hard conversations and peel back the things of our past in order to get down to the root of it all, of why we behave the way we behave, and why we move the way we move, and why we say the things that we say. You see? And we see it in a large number of women. We see it in a large number of men.
Keep going from that statement, like pause, rewind, what did you just say? And breaking it down. And I think that we, as our coping mechanisms, we get so used to something being, what's the word when families we are dysfunctional. We get so used to the dysfunction that that's what we cling to instead of being committed to identifying. Like
it becomes second nature.
We're traumatized. We all got trauma. We all got things healing to do. But
functional trauma is what I like to call it.
You know,
we learn to function. We learn how to just function in chaos.
Yes.
And what happens is we don't. You know, for me, I won't classify everybody, but for me, I didn't have time to peel those layers back.
Yeah.
Because I was too busy. I need to survive.
Yeah.
Right. I need to build this brand, or I need to, not be out of prison. I need to watch out for the jackets.
Instead of dealing with it, individuals find ways to keep themselves busy so that they don't have to think about it. You see? But there's no way to run from reality. There's no way to run from your past. Many people will have tried it but have failed. I was one of those that used to run from my past until 2019. But I say this to say, the more we continue to have these type of discussions, now we are willing and able to overstand each other in a totally different way that we didn't before. You see? It's like on social media, as an example. Here these women on social media acting like they Mr. Get Bag. I'm getting that bag. I'm a boss bitch. I'm this and that and so forth. Oh, just going all in. A man gotta have this. He gotta have that. I don't like the Cheesecake Factory. I don't like this. I like to go here. But when you look into them, you see hurt. You see abandonment. You see all these things, these trauma things. But they put on this masculine. But if you take all that away, it's an average woman that's been carrying things, carrying the baggage of her past. That's all. We see that in men too. We see that in men too. What will it take for you to sit down and have a conversation with yourself? Have a meeting with yourself, to look at yourself. What has to happen in order for you to do that?
To be in the streets and do these things. So I didn't have time to sit back and like peel back layers, right? And I'm not going to ask myself the tough questions.
Right.
You know
We
what I'm
don't even
saying?
know the
I don't even know the
questions
questions to ask.
Yes.
And so I remember my therapist told me, he was blown away by me. He said, all right, if we're going to get where we need to go at, this is going to be extremely hard because I'm going to ask you some questions. And I remember telling him, I said, bro, I've been shot. I've been to prison. Asking me some questions is the easiest thing that you can ask me. And so he thought it was going to be like hard for me. And so as he started asking me the question, I was like, oh yeah, I remember when this happened and this is how I felt. And he was like, whoa, you really numb to this. I'm like, bro, I just need to get it over with so I can get where I need to go at. Right? Because I know that these feelings have been calloused. And I need to keep scraping the callus so I can get back to the emotion to feel so that I can be present.
Yeah.
Right? And I understand that when it comes to being a man I'm by far no dating coach and I'm learning. I'm only speaking from my experience.
Right.
I know that in order to be intimate with a woman, you have to be emotionally available. Right.
Boy, about to have me speaking in tongues. You have to be emotional, available, mentally available, spiritually available. All those three things one has to be. Because when you are intimate and you're giving yourself to that person, it's a spiritual thing, it's an emotional thing, it's a mental thing, yeah, physical thing. But the top three hold more weight than the physical, especially the first one, spiritual. But you have to be available. If you have an individual that's trying their best to make time for you, and you keep blowing that person off, or that person is making an effort to reach out to you, whether it be a phone call or a text message, you kind of blowing that person off, pretty soon that person's going to fall back. Pretty soon that person's going to stop. And then it's going to be a thing of, where have you been? How come I haven't heard from you? Well, you've been hearing from me. You just not responding. All right.
Right?
We gotta let that land. Because we say this, y'all know how much I talk about this on the podcast. Emotional intelligence and emotional regulation are two of the most important things inside of any kind of intimate relationship, whether it be platonic or romantic. So do you feel like you're in a space now where you are more emotionally available? Do you feel like so why are you still single? And also, two-part question.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So being
the questions with layers.
Being a top 1% high earning, high value man, are you afraid of marriage?
So first question is, why am I single now?
Yeah.
So I just went through, I think as you're on your journey, your level of healing is always tested.
Absolutely.
Right? So I always hear women today say, come to me healed. For me, that immediately X's me out. Because I'm not healed.
We'll never be healed.
You feel me? So I don't fit that.
Yeah.
I've been traumatized longer than I've been working on the heal.
It's like, how can you ask a person to come to you healed when that other person is not healed, hasn't been healed, or is in the process of being healed? It goes back to what I said earlier about the finished product. A large number of women want a man that's a finished product. But someone else would take that man and see the value in him, see something in him, and he's not a finished product. He's in a process. They'll take him anyway. No man, no woman is going to be a finished product. No one's perfect. There's going to be some things that man has to work on. There's going to be some things that women have to work on. We all are a work in progress. Now, my opinion, the best relationships to have is when two individuals are in progress. I'm going to take a sip of my Hermosa and I'm going to let you marinate on that. I'm going to give it to you again. Best healthy relationships to have is when two people are in that process, going through that process. When they're going through that process. Because there are going to be things they're going to discover about each other. Memories are being created. There's so much beautifulness behind that. Let's continue.
Yeah.
So that's gonna take me a while.
Yeah.
Right. But I got tested recently. I had moved my daughter's mom to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
She's maybe like 2 years. I moved them in their own house. We had a good co-parenting relationship. And I felt like, for me, that gave me peace knowing that my daughter was protected,
Mm-hmm.
and then that she was protected.
Mm-hmm.
And so one day I called her to give her my schedule for the next month. Like, yo, I'm going to Europe, I'm going to Dallas, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh yeah, we moving back to New Orleans.
Oh.
And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Right? Immediately, all my healing went out the window.
Yeah.
And I had to grab it.
Yeah.
I had to grab it.
Yeah.
My initial response was, you're not taking my daughter.
Yeah.
That was my initial response.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, we can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
We can't do that. And so I'll be honest, it took me about 2 weeks. I just didn't talk. Right? I didn't talk because I was going through the emotions in me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I expressed that I was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Something I would have never done.
We've all been there. We've wanted something to go our way. And when that thing doesn't go our way, it's like a mental and emotional setback. It's like a big emotional and mental disappointment. Instead of looking at it for what it is and receiving it. There's a lot of things that we're going to accept and not accept. And there's going to be a lot of things that Elohim will put in store that he will set in front. It's almost like this will happen regardless, whether you like it or not. But it's going to go this way. We have to be willing to adapt to change. We have to be willing to know that things aren't always going to go our way. We're not going to always get what we want. Okay? And we see that within individuals today, whether it be in the dating market, whether it be at the workplace, whether it be with friends, or even within ourselves. We're always not going to get what we want. Things are always not going to go our way. But we have to be willing to adapt to change. We have to be willing to adapt when things shift in our life. And to know that it's not a bad thing.
And I said, you hurt me. But I'm not going to be selfish. Thank you for giving me 2 years with my baby. You ain't have to do that. You ain't have to do that. I still want what's best for you. I still pray for you. Protection. If you need me, I'm good. I'm here. And I said that to say that moment took a lot out of me because I had fought for my daughter to be with me for so long. And not fought in a way like we going to court back and forward, but it's trying to convince her mom to leave New Orleans to come here.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm going to pay all the bills. You don't got to do none of that. But I had to realize also that, Trap, you can't control every situation.
Yeah.
And I'll be real with you, like, that was my thing. Like, I love control.
Yeah.
I love to be able to have a situation, say, this is exactly how I wanted it to be.
We all do. We all do. But what happens when we don't have control? What happens when we may think we are in control of something, someone, and it backfires? Then what? You see? We have to have that harsh reality check. However, whatever it may be, we have to be willing to have that harsh reality check. Real thing, buddy.
Right? And so, I always think that I ain't putting people in the best position.
Yeah.
But it's the best position that I see. It don't mean it's the best position that she saw for her life.
Yeah.
And so I had to get through that. And so for that moment, I'm not gonna lie, I just stopped talking to people. Because I was like, okay, there's more work to be done here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I didn't.
And let me just say this, with an individual that has a problem with control, their ego and their pride get hurt, especially when they don't get what they want and things don't go their way. That ego, that pride. So those are areas that will come up, that will show, hey, we got to work on this. We got to spend some time in this area.
And it just was a new space for me. And so I think that right now in this space, I'm learning now, like, yo, all right, I have to adapt without my daughter. And that's new for me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not lying. But again, when it comes to men, we haven't learned, and I'm learning how to let a person be there for you while you go through the thing.
Yes, which is scary.
Yes. Right. So I think for me in this phase, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about learning how to let a woman be there for me while I'm going through the phase, and not shut down. Because that is what you.
It would be also safe to say, in general, be there for each other. Learn how to be there for each other. Learn how to be there spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. There for each other. You see?
Who all want to do.
That's how we feel safe.
That's how, like, let me be there for me. Let me care for you.
Yeah.
Let me nurture you.
Yeah.
Let me go through this with you, and I can still navigate going through what I'm going through.
Yeah.
This is what I'm built for.
Yeah.
And so I'm still learning that.
Yeah.
And so that in that space, that's where I am.
I think that's really beautiful. It makes me think of my parents. And just to give a little bit of backstory. So my dad ruptured a disc in his back when I was 10 years old. We went from a 2-family income household to 1.
Okay.
And so my mom was taking care of my dad, all of us kids, trying to make sure we weren't homeless, full-time student, full-time job, and also her own life, but still made my dad head of household. Like, I've never seen my parents fight. And not to say that's the right way. You know, maybe now when I see people yelling, like, I almost like, that shuts me down because I don't operate in that. I'm like, you can have a conversation. If you need to step away and come back, we can have a conversation, but I don't do the whole yelling
and hooping and hollering.
That's not effective. Not for me. I shut down.
No, 100%.
Yeah, it doesn't work. But it's crazy because I do feel like everyone is always like, why are you single? Why are you single? Why are you single? Well, I'm choosing singleness. And like, when I'm not, you'll know, it is what it is. But I feel like we live in a generation that is weak. And we live in a generation where people don't want to go through anything.
Yeah.
And we're also living in a generation where things are so transactional, and to me, that's prostitution. I mean, take it for what it is. Things are so transactional. Whatever happened to, we go out for drinks, or we go out for a walk, or we go out for coffee, or we, we come to each other's house for a home cooked meal. Whatever happened to it being simple? Dating now in this generation has become so complicated. Like, for real, no one communicates. It's almost like, I want it right now. It should already be there. I don't want to work for it. But wait a minute, how did you get that job that you were on? You put in the effort and the work to get that job. You know what you had to do to get that job. You answered the ad. You set up your appointment for an interview. You got your resumes together. You got your wardrobe together. You coached yourself on what to say to prepare for the interview. You went in there. You aced the interview. You got hired. You went to orientation. You filled out your new hire packet. You went for training. You got your schedule. It was a process. Well, how come when it comes to your love life, you're not using those same tools, that same process? It's exactly the same thing if you really sit back and look at it.
We live in a generation where, we're always going to be healing. We're always going to be growing, because what I go through 10 years ago has nothing on our 10 years from 10 years ago is so astronomically different from what I'm going to go through in 10 years.
Yeah.
And so it's this evolution thing. That's why we're on this planet, to grow and evolve. And hopefully with a connectedness and a partnership, because we desire that is on a human spiritual level. But it just makes me think like, inside of relationship and inside of really having that ride or die thing in 2024, people don't even know where the car is at.
Yeah.
To get in and say, okay, I'm riding with you. Like, where are we going? Whatever it may be. So I just love hearing from a man, number one. It's so responsible and so vulnerable and so honest for you to be able to say, I haven't been able to open up this way. This is what it looks like now. I'm not coming all the way healed, but this is where what it can look like.
Yeah.
I think that it's really it's beautiful. And I think that even inside of my brain, I'm like, oh, okay, there's still sanity on the planet.
Yeah.
Because folks is wild.
I think what happens is social media has done a lot for the way that we project everyone.
Yes.
Right? We all get like I wouldn't say that there's no good women out here.
I would never say that about men. Yeah.
There's an abundant amount of great women out here.
I agree. Just like you would never hear me say, when I hear a large number of women speak, men ain't shit. There's no good men out here. You will always hear me say, there's always been good men and good women walking around the universe. You have to be willing to take responsibility and look at who you chose versus who you passed up. But to say that there's no good men, all men are shit, we want you, but we don't need you, that's a childhood problem. There's some things going on. You struggling with some things. You battling some things. Some things happened, some traumas took place. For you to sit up there and fix your mouth to say them things. Because you don't hear men saying stuff like that. We want a woman, but we don't need them. All women ain't shit. Where's the good women at? It's your character and who you attract and who you draw to you. Come on now, let's get it together. That's when you need to have a meeting with yourself to figure out why you keep attracting ain't shit people. You have to be willing to look at yourself and change your mindset and change the way you move.
Yes.
Just like there's an abundant amount of men who's working to be that.
Yeah.
But we have to navigate through the minutia of, you know what I'm saying?
Of the week.
So yeah. And so for me, it's I'm 42. There's a 55-year-old version of me that is counting on me right now to do the right thing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? There's a 55, there's a 60, there's a 65-year-old, God bless him with that much life, that is depending on me right now to make proper decisions.
Yes.
And one of the things I learned from E.T. was, he said, Trap, we are always one decision away from losing it all. So we have to become elite decision makers. Right? And so to me, that simply means operate more in the spirit and less of the flesh. Because we operate more in the spirit, then we can't help but make better decisions.
Yeah.
That's right.
But
That's
when
right.
you operate in the flesh, then you get closer to destroying the thing.
Yes.
And
I also believe that even when it comes to growth, whether if it's men's growth, women's growth, when it comes to growth, just know that Rome wasn't built overnight, but they did build Rome. Okay? Never shortchange yourself. Because when I'm hearing, especially when it comes to the ladies, what I'm hearing on social media, you know, just like the cooking with Kaya. I mean, a large number of black women hating on one woman, on one black woman, but yet y'all talk about the sisterhood. Anything that shows a woman cooking or doing something positive, whether it be for her man, her children, herself, she get flamed on. You see? Especially her doing something for a man. But it exposes the feminists, the modern feminist women, it exposes them easy as Sunday morning. Because those are the ones that go on social media and make those comments. Those are the ones that go on social media and start saying something. Why? Why is there so much division? Why is it a large number of black women that hate black men? What did black men do to you to make you hate them, dislike them? It shows in your behavior. It's not what you say, it's how you say what you say. It shows in the way that you move. Why? But also, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit those likes. I need those likes. I need those likes. I need you to like this video. I need you to share this video. I need you to comment on this video. I need you to subscribe to my channel. I'm a new channel. Yes, it's a blessing to hit 30,000 subscribers, but I'm looking to go past that. I need more. I need more. Let's get this word out there. This is a new year. I'm going to let it play a little bit more, then the spirit of the universe going to take us home with my final thoughts.
And he dug more into the iniquity, and he said that is the sin that we foster, not the sin we born with. And so for me, I'm in that phase of my life where I'm nowhere near perfect. I'm perfectly flawed, but I'm unhinging myself from the things that I have fostered. Right? The things that I have cultivated within me that I have made acceptable. Right? And so I'm in a phase right now, like, okay, let's relearn a lot of those things because those are the things that make you one decision away.
Yeah.
Even though we're one decision away, those things that we foster, help get us closer to making that decision.
Yes.
Right? And I want to get myself as far away from making that decision as possible.
Yes.
And so I want to cultivate something different in me now.
Yeah.
And it's not always the easiest thing.
No, I'm reading this book right now.
What is it?
The 5 Levels of Attachment. And it's Don Miguel Ruiz. I love Don Miguel Ruiz. And
4 Agreements, right?
Yeah. And the Mastery of
Love.
Love.
Mastery.
A lot of really great.
Okay.
But the 5th level, I was talking about this earlier, is internalization. And the thing about what we as humans do is sometimes we get so caught up inside of the habits of how we are, the patterns that we're in, that we internalize that that's who we are.
Yeah.
And then that becomes our identity.
Yeah.
So if you will only ever hear, oh, you're going to be dead or in jail by the time you're 25, and you internalize that, oh, it's true, and you'll act like it.
And that was me.
It's almost like saying audio suggestion. The more you tell yourself things, you'll begin to think it. The more you begin to think it, you begin to apply it. That's why you have to be careful of what you tell yourself, what you say to yourself. You know, the tongue is very powerful. Very, very powerful. And you have to be mindful of the things that you say.
Touche, you know? But if you hear, you're going to make a difference on the planet.
Yeah.
You are fearfully and wonderfully, like beautifully and wonderfully made. You like literally, if you start hearing the things and have life spoken into you, that's why one of my favorite books says there's life and death lie in the power of the tongue, right? So are we able to stop internalizing and becoming what it is that we don't want? Because have you ever noticed when you ask people like, what do you want in your life? They can tell you what they don't want, but they don't speak on what they do want.
It's because we haven't been programmed to appreciate the abundance of life.
And also the negative things that we were taught, that was said to us. So those negative things, we begin to live that. We begin to apply it. We begin to receive it. Be careful of the things that you receive. Be careful of the things that, you know, are being presented to you. When we talk about the New Year's resolution, everybody has their New Year's resolution. But towards the mid of the year, they fall off. And that's why I kept it simple. Consistency. Be consistent in all that you do and say. Consistency. If you're going to say something, stand on it. If you're going to do something, do it. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. You're not trying to be consistent, then you need to sit down. Period. Don't make you less of a man or less of a woman. Just move out the way.
So I'm always speak from personal experience. I never was taught to value my life.
What does that mean? Like, because I'm the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, when they told me you know what a vandal was, I'm just sitting there like, wow.
I don't have a clue.
I said, she's so cute.
I don't. I'm from Canada though. I'm Canadian.
I'm like, she's so cute.
No, you don't live in abandoned buildings in Canada. You will freeze to death.
Yeah.
We don't even really have homeless people. People die. Like, you will not.
I remember when I was homeless, you know, I was in an abandoned building, stairwell, you know, sleeping in abandoned cars. I went through it too. I had some rough childhood. But see, I've learned to channel all of those things into something positive. I do believe that you never know what a person is going through. You never know what a person is about to go through. You don't know what a person is about to come out of. once they hear your testimony, once you share it, it's giving people hope. It's nowadays in this generation, so many people are quick to tear down one's self-esteem and emasculate someone, humiliate someone, like disrespect someone. So they're quick to do it. Make a person feel like shit. Quick to do it. And to have years and years and years of the same things happening to you, it's almost like every time you try to get out of a deep pit, it's something to keep pulling you back in. And it makes it challenging for you to get out of that pit. You know you can do it. You see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's hard for you to get there. Because there's something always pulling you back. Because something that was done to you for so long, you gravitated to it, and it became second nature to you. Make sense? All right.
Make it through the winter. Don't come there.
That is crazy.
So it's just different.
So my environment. So I was just, matter of fact, I just had a conversation the other day about this. I'm at a phase right now where the men that I'm around, I consider them friends, but not because they're willing to die for me or go to prison for me. Because I value what they bring to my life in the form of helping me grow and develop.
Yes.
Keyword, value of what you bring to a person's life. Ladies, what value do you have that you are willing to bring into a man's life? I'll wait. What value do you have that you are willing to bring into a man's life? That's a real good question. Has nothing to do with your body, your education, your job, you getting the bag, packing the bags. All them things are cool. It works for you. Congratulations on your accomplishments. More on a whole deeper scale. This is the reason why men say, what do you bring to the table? How can you be an asset to me? If I'm telling you what I bring to the table, how I can be an asset to you, I have the right to ask the exact same question.
That is new.
Oh.
That is new. There was an era of my life, not far from where I am now, where I would only call you my brother or say you're my friend if I was willing to die for you, or if you were willing to die for me, or if you were willing to jeopardize your freedom for me, or if I was willing to jeopardize my freedom for you.
And you felt this way about multiple people?
Until I got to a certain age.
But there was a time you felt this way about multiple people.
That was the only way we were connected. If you weren't willing to bust your gun, if you wasn't willing to swing on, if you wasn't willing to leave your family and go to jail for me, if you wasn't willing to die for me, then why would I have you around? How can I call you a friend? How can I trust you when every day we wake up, we putting our life on the line, we putting our freedom on the line? How can I even say I don't want you around me? Because every day you know what we're risking. And if you're not willing to risk it all, I do not want you around me. You're untrustworthy.
So there's elements of this I respect in the sense that the loyalty is unwavering and unquestionable. However,
Yes.
there was never but what are we loyal to?
So and that's the point I'm telling you. What happens is you grow up and then the environment sets the standard.
Mm.
And it's even now. The environment now sets the standard, but what happens is now we bring God into it. When I was in the street, I only prayed that God got me out of situations. Just being honest. God, let this lick go right.
Oh.
God, when I kick this door in, when we kick the door in, please, God, don't let him be on the other side.
No,
Ready.
stop it. You were that's
But it's true. It's true. A large number of individuals are faced with that same thing. A large number of women are faced with that exact same thing. Different scenario, but it's still the same thing. See?
a little trifling.
It's 100%, but I'm just telling you where my connection with God was in that era of my life.
No judgment. I'm just like,
I'm just telling you, like, real talk. Like, I would be in a situation, like, you know, we'll go pull the situation off, and I'll be like, all right, I'm about to pray right quick. God, man, you know I'm just trying to get this money. And let me get through this, protect all of us. Let us get through this unharmed and get back to our family. Now that I think about it, but like that was my relationship. That was because and I'm telling you, and I promise you, like it's funny to think about now, but that was my life. Like after I would hit a lick or we were going, I would be like, thank you, God.
What's the definition of a lick?
So like
robbery.
A robbery.
Okay.
That's all it is.
And it would be like, all right, God, thank you, man. All us, everybody got through safe. Thank you, God. We good. Everybody good? All right, let's bring it down, fellas. Right? And that was the relationship. Be honest. Right? And so you feel like, all right, you get through this. Another example was getting found not guilty. Thank you, God. You ain't let them folks send me back to that place.
This is after you went the first time? For 10 years?
Nah. I came home and caught another charge. So you killing me right now, Pierre.
When we hear of the brother sharing his testimonies, I'm quite sure we have men and women out there with testimonies. But that's the learning curve of understanding someone. Like I always tell people, I don't want to get to know you. That's the easy part. I want to understand you. And when you're able to understand an individual by listening and seeing where they are coming from in either perspective is eye-opening and it's good,
I'm bewildered.
Does she really like this? She flabbergasted.
I am truly flabbergasted.
Nah, so I went to jail for the 10. I was 16.
Yeah.
I went to prison for attempt murder or robbery. And then
not to say this is funny because it's not funny and this is very real. But right now, I'm a producer and a director and an actress, and in my storyline, I've been writing my girl, and she's in jail right now for attempted murder.
Yeah.
I might have to.
I'm gonna leave it alone at this one, but I'm gonna also leave a copy of this in the description box. Change. I do believe men and women can change. When you sit back and they share their testimony of how they used to be and what they used to do and where they are now, man. Because I tell you, the person I used to be to the person you see here now, totally different person. but it's learning those life lessons. It's learning from those mistakes. It's being willing to go back and confront our past and heal from them things of our past that makes us a better person. And again, I use this as an introduction to Women's Empowerment Month of January 2025. I'll be going live and we're going to handle it. We're going to talk about it. But at the end of the day, they say, why a full month of women's empowerment? Well, it's getting down to the root of it all. I'm using variances of things. See, I have access. So whatever I have access to that's going to support the topic, I'm going to use it. All right? And carrying into 2025, please know this. Men and women, you are loved. You are appreciated. Okay? Thank you for all that you do. Let's continue to learn. Let's continue to grow. Let's continue to bring it back together. We don't have to be so disconnected, divided. For what? So let's continue to do that, and also consistent. Stay consistent. Take that with you. I want to thank you for allowing me to be on your TV screen. This is January 1st. Coming up with the first live of the year. Let's continue to grow. Let's have a great, amazing year. I pray that all your blessings and all your dreams come true for you. Stay healthy. It's your boy, Big Truck. 1.